The title of the video says everything. I got the opportunity to ask Terry McGurrin 3 questions about total drama. Why, you might ask? Well, for that, we're gonna need to go to the dark and treacherous place known as the Giggly Iggly YouTube Community tab. You see, I was venting my frustration. As most of you know, I've more or less been the main figure trying to put the ship's scary chase on the map. It's been a fun little side quest in my life over the past 3 years, and I've met plenty of great people over it. But my current caveat was in regards to the ship's fanfiction or lack thereof. Every few months I'll go out of my way to check AO3 and search all the Chase and Scaragirl tags to hopefully find some new writers. But over the past year, nothing. And frankly, I'm sad. I miss that feeling of going on AO3 and finding a new Skase fic to sink my teeth into. And for most people, this would be an easy feeling to ignore. But for yours truly, I needed to conjure up a diabolical plan. Enter Terry McGurrin, the voice of Dawn, Jonesy, and the current voice of Chris McLean, going out of his way to provide incentive towards donating to the Transcontinental Pipeline, the fundraiser that helps transgender and LGBTQ individuals make their way to Colorado from unaccepting locations. It's truly a good thing that I'll link below if this video comes out while it's still going on. And hey, maybe if you have some total drama, fresh TV, or just voice acting related questions of your own, donating $25 means Terry would answer 1 question, 50, 3 questions, and for $150, a 20-minute Zoom call. I went with the middle option. I just know my own awkwardness of doing a live recording would muddy the watchability of this video. I'm like Batman, I need prep time. Now I could have just asked 1 question for $25, but I didn't want to come off as shallow, only really caring about one little ship I conjured. There's so much stuff I could ask Terry that it'd be more palatable to the fandom as a whole, so this means I'd have 2 empty questions to fill in, and in order to get the most bang for my buck, I decided to get help from a few friends. But before we get to the questions, let's talk about what I've been up to. I just turned 21 years old, meaning these questions more or less also acted as my own little birthday gift for myself. And alongside my donation, I also treated myself to a visit to my local comic book shop, where I picked up a shit ton of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel comics. Yes, we're going on another Buffyverse tangent. If you want to understand what I'm talking about, watch Buffy and Angel. This channel will inevitably turn into a Buffy channel, so I'm just preparing you all at the end of the day. Anywho, my most recent read was Angel After the Fall, the official canonical continuation of Angel after its cliffhanger ending. But you see, Angel's cliffhanger is a special case, where it's the type of ending that perfectly encapsulates what Angel as a show represents. The perseverance and battle for redemption even when facing impossible losing odds. So naturally, I'd be a little iffy seeing the show continue after its final scene, as I felt no destination could ever top what we've already seen. But I'd be wrong. Angel After the Fall perfectly follows the series by making things more miserable than you can ever imagine. It's basically Angel Weirdmageddon. LA is a hellhole where characters we've known and loved are evil, possessed, tortured, or cursed with Lovecraftian burden. All the while Angel himself is cursed in the most interesting way possible. I won't spoil anything directly. All I'll say is that Angel was given the happy ending he was promised at the start of the series, at the cost of being unable to protect the ones he cares about. But Angel still selflessly perseveres as a hero with his newfound gift weighing him down. Because if nothing we do matters, all that matters is what we do. There's barely any videos covering the After the Fall series, and I just needed somewhere to vent how good it is. What was I talking about? Right, total drama. The first person I asked to give me a question for Terry is the one noob, the voice of Mikado from Mikado Reviews, and the second most iconic voice actor of Mikado Shinoji. His favorite reboot character is Z, and he wanted to know how his amputee representation was conjured. I decided to open up this question of how they wrote diversity to everyone in the reboot just to make things a little more interesting. One thing to note before we get into Terry McGurrin's response is I actually recorded my face directly for Terry McGurrin to see. I sort of assumed he'd be formatting these videos by switching over from me to him in editing, and I was kinda mentally preparing myself to have a face reveal. But nope. From now until the end of time, my only face revealed will be this close-up, stretched out, unflattering picture of myself. I'll just place it over my actual face. I'm gonna sound pretty awkward since I'm doing my generic video essay voice in front of a camera. So when writing all the diverse character reps in the TD reboot, Did you come up with the characters first and foremost before figuring out the intricacies of their background or vice versa? For example, Z, he's an amputee and also happens to be a stoner crash out. So like, was he created with the idea of being that representation, or was it added to his character after the fact, if that makes sense? And here is Terry McGurrin's response.
Giggly Iggly, thank you for donating to the Transcontinental Pipeline, helping queer and trans folks relocate to safer areas of the US. Appreciate it. If you haven't checked out Giggly Iggly's YouTube channel, I suggest you do. I'm a subscriber. Your first question was, when creating such a diverse cast like we did in the reboot, do you create the characters first and then apply the diversity or background? For the record, all of those Total Drama Island characters get created by Jennifer Perch and her 3 teenage daughters. Yeah, when you're writing teenagers involves some teenagers, okay? And with the exception of a few minor adjustments as the writing goes along, those are the characters we use. Jennifer Perch is the queen. The specific example you gave was Z. Did we have all the characters created and then decide which one would have a prosthetic leg? Yes. All the characters have been created. One of my favorite scenes with Z is when Axel says, "Why didn't you tell us you had a prosthetic leg?" And Z says, "Why didn't you tell me all your legs were real?" I love it. None of our other characters would have worded it that way, and I think that's why Z was the right choice.
I love that Terry tried to match my deliveries in the question. It makes things very funny when playing my video back to back. It's also really fun to hear that real-life teenagers were involved in this generation's development process. With almost a decade of separation between the Redonkulous race and these seasons, I can really tell they tried to update how kids act in today's times. I'm also glad Terry took his time to mention the first reveal of Z's prosthetic. That scene is genuinely one of the first real laughs I got out of the reboot. Z being an amputee was always an inseparable part of his character, and it's great to have that confirmation. Moving on to question 2 is when I decided to have Banana Bread Man mosey on in. We're working on a super secret classified Total Drama related video project together, and also we occasionally play Melee. I mean Peach with a Samus ult. But anyways, his question was more so focused on Total Drama's in-universe logic rather than anything regarding its behind-the-scenes production. If I remember correctly, this will be for a future video of his, so go check out his channel. I also drew the thumbnail for this Alejandro and Mal Sans Undertale parody. My next question is represented by Total Drama YouTuber Banana Bread Man, and he asks, throughout the show's history, there's been a ton of dream sequences without any logic behind the in-universe filming, and he's wondering if it could be swept away as all being cartoon logic, or could it be interpreted as recorded after the fact, kind of like one of those true crime dramatic retellings, as like a funny way to think about it.
Your second question came from YouTuber Banana Bread Man. I love banana bread, but it's gotta have chocolate chips. If it doesn't have chocolate... The question was regarding all of the dream sequences that happened throughout the history of Total Drama Island, and should they be considered canon or just crazy cartoon logic? Okay, all of those dream sequences come from a specific character. They are not canon. Do not make them canon. They're not canon.
I love the immediate shutdown. It's a real shame we'll never get any crazy conspiracy theories of the donut copter being real. We'll just have to stick to the already canon Slender Man for any further crackpot discussions of Total Drama. Now, my last question. My reason for prodding Terry McGurrin. My long-winded attempt at updating the Scary Chase AO3 tag. The Scary Chase question. But before we continue, might I suggest checking out Total Drama Skase on Tumblr, your primary source for Scary Chase art, and my primary tool of getting visuals for my videos. Whoever does this art must be incredibly talented and cool. Okay, on to my question. Okay, the last question is a very special one because it is representing my audience personally that I've kind of acquainted to a certain ship within the Total Drama reboot. Like, there's been a lot of ships, like Mkulia, it's like the biggest thing ever. There's Scaremian, a lot of non-canon ships, what I'm talking about in particular. And the one that I've made a following for personally has been Chase X Scary Girl, also known as Scary Chase. And this can basically be seen as me going out of my way to kind of service my audience towards a ship that otherwise would get like no play in the fandom. Now, when I'm asking for like an official comment on them, like I'm not telling you to confirm it to be canon. Like, I just want to know if you vibe with the ship just like on paper. It'd be them matching each other's freak while also both getting some kind of twisted validation over their terribleness. And also kind of half redeeming them because, oh my god, there's somebody that Chase won't be sexist around. And oh my god, there's somebody that Scary Girl doesn't want to sabotage with challenges and whatnot. I imagine it as like a very wholesome dynamic like Morticia and Gomez from the Addams Family, if you know that. But yeah, all I'm asking is if you vibe with it to kind of service my audience. This is very cool of you. Let me take the opportunity to shout out this Shadow Surge 56 fella, who was the first one to come up with the Morticia-Gomez comparison. I have no clue if you watched me beyond the one video of mine you commented under, that being analyzing Evil Chase, but please know that your comment has left a stronger impression than most when it comes to how I see Scary Chase. I will not let this person be an unsung hero. Anyways, I tried to be very specific with my language. I never wanted to come off as one of those fans who'd pressure important figures in a show's creation towards giving me a quote-unquote right answer. Using the word vibe was more or less a way to make it seem like a much more casual question to Terry, since I know ship debates can get heated and toxic. I needed to be responsible. I hope you enjoy Terry and Julius Cho's response.
And your final question was about a non-canon relationship that you highlight on your YouTube channel between Chase and Scary Girl, Scary Chase. And you wanted to know if I vibe with it. Yes. Not only do I vibe with that non-canon relationship, I've been vibing with it for long before you asked this question. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
What's up? It's Julius. I play Chase on Total Drama. Chase is me and I'm Chase, not in the misogynistic, villainous part, but truth be told, I think I'd be terrified. I'd be genuinely freaking out every time I'd be with Scary Girl. I think it'd be kind of hot, but I think the fear of waking up every day not knowing if I'm gonna be thrown into a pit of piranhas or be pushed off a cliff is pretty terrifying. But I do think Chase would like it. There's something about staying on edge, being current, finding the awesome like influencer video. Come on, the shock value, people would watch it. People will watch it, for sure.
Knowing TERRY MCGURRIN has fucked with this ship before directly coming up to him is pretty great to hear. But it also makes sense that he's aware of the ship already, as I always frame my Chase-centered videos as these military calls to action. Like, I think it's funny, and I like the bits, but also I can't help but cringe half the time. Like in my first Chase video, I call out Terry directly as if I'm asking him to take all my ideas, and it's supposed to be framed as sort of a parody of Nintendo fans begging Reggie for Mother 3 or something like that, but I know other people could take it too seriously. There's a fine line between what's real and a joke. I can't help but be squeamish at the fact that at least 2 or 3 people watching might take these calls seriously. As for Julius Cho's side of the question,
it'd be kind of hot.
I'm sorry, I know this is like a 2.5-minute video clip, but this one casual comment on the ship has been repeating in my brain for the past week. It's so funny as an on-a-whim kind of response. I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way. It's genuinely amazing. It's really cool how with Julius's take on the ship, he tried to put himself in the immediate shoes of Chase with what his response would be. It'd be horrifying. Taking advantage of Chase's daredevil approach to life in response to other people is one of the many directions this ship could go. I do think after a while Chase's nerves would ease, as all of his near-death moments would be overshadowed by feelings. And knowing Chase, he'd brush the concept of feelings aside as a thing only chicks had up till this point. Plus, I only think there's so much hurting Scary Girl can afflict before realizing she needs the company of a danger-inflicting prankster to continue any sort of bond. Their entire shtick in my head is presenting all of their dangerous outlets as a way to find companionship without changing who they are as people. Terrible. Thank you to TERRY MCGURRIN for organizing this little event, and please remember why it exists: to raise awareness and money for the TC pipeline. And an additional thanks to the surprise guest Julius Cho for giving an amazing 2 cents. We can't forget to also thank the one noob and banana bread man for the additional questions. And thank you all for listening to me ramble about this weird and otherwise dead-in-the-water rare pair for the umpteenth time. I'll keep my eyes peeled for any incredible fan art and fanfiction that might come my way. Or maybe this will just be a blip on the radar. Okay, bye!